Welcome to So You're Kinda a Big Deal, a weekly podcast deep diving into the lives of emerging and established tattoo artists. Listen in as we dig into origin stories, industry hot topics, and what it takes to survive in the world of tattooing. This is Tattoo Shop Talk. It's funny, it's crass, inspiring, and sometimes we get it right. Join your hosts Shawn Hedley and Dave Allen every week as we host a new guest. The True North Strong Tattoo Book. This is a massive tattoo encyclopedia of Canadian tattooers. 350 pages. It's an 11 by 17 coffee table format. Shawn and Dan worked tirelessly to get this thing out, and sadly it never made it to print, so it's available for free download at theholdfastsocialclub.com and championtattoo.ca.
It was great getting to know Curly and this amazing guy that tattooed with one arm. You know, the customer had to stretch his own skin.
So I did get blood poisoning from him twice. Yeah, twice.
Ed Hardy brought this whole Japanese influence into American tattooing.
Once Dave Shore come onto the scene, it was like tattooing completely changed.
If anybody could say anything about greaseball Japanese, it's fucking Dave Shore.
Salty, piratey, bikery, just hard not to do.
Man, he'd pull in on his chopper with the tattoos and the girls, and I mean, he was just like so cool, man.
He captured vulgarity and pleasure and insanity and recklessness.
Tattooer in the 80s or 70s. Just not the same, you had to be a tough guy.
I was scared shitless. Even though I was kind of a biker guy, these were bigger biker guys, you know?
I'm not totally sure you could paint the picture accurately to somebody now getting into tattooing about what it was like then. And the only reason I would say or I feel that way, though, is because they might not believe you.
We had the limo waiting for him with all the lines of blow lined up at the airport. This is the way we do it in Canada.
In like 80s, 90s, Paul Jeffries was like the king of tattooing. It wasn't just in Canada.
Like, am I supposed to stop tattooing? Because if this is what I'm supposed to aspire to, it's not gonna happen.
Each one of these old masters influenced groups of tattooers who in turn influenced other groups of tattooers.
The Hold Fast Social Club presents So You're Kinda a Big Deal with your hosts, Shawn Hedley and Dave Allen. Fuck you.
Oh no, you do lose.
Whatever.
Oh no, you got a band-aid? Did you get a kissy kiss?
The guy, it's funny, the guy that was stitching me up was my client. No shit, he walks in, he's like, you look really familiar. I'm like, yeah, I did that tattoo. He's like, you're going to need stitches. Yeah, I bet.
Yeah. Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
So what happened? Just the wheel on your walker gave out and you tripped?
Pretty much.
Nice.
Coming hard into a corner and tripped on a little pebble and went down. Sack of potatoes.
Fucking skateboarding and hitting a wet cigarette butt?
Oh, fuck. No. Mountain biking. Went over the bars and got a little bit of airtime. I didn't even know I was airborne until I was like maybe 5 inches from the ground. And I was like, oh, fuck.
I tell you about my scooter incident?
No.
Okay, so we're scootering. First of all, the first time I go scootering, you know those lime and birds,
Yeah.
whatever. So we go out scootering for the very first fucking time, and we're ripping. Of course, we're pretty drunk. Julia fucking nearly gives me a heart attack. She like fucking dive rolls and just misses a fucking lamppost, and she's like bounces up. I'm fine, and I'm thinking like, oh, to be young.
Yeah.
Skip them, a couple months later. We always ride the lime ones. The rear brake is on the right-hand side. So you fucking do skiddies and everything. We're down in the river valley. It's like a hill, windy asphalt, like brand new asphalt. Super nice. Well, I traded my lime for a bird with one of her friends with us. The brakes are reversed.
Oh, man.
So we're doing hairpins going down, and Julia's in front, and she's now coming kind of towards, and I'm like here, and I go skiddy, and I fucking hammer the fucking front brake.
Pew!
Straight over Superman style hand plant, rolled out of it, and same thing. I was like, pick my glass up, like, I'm good. And she's like freaking out, like, oh my God, I thought you were gonna die.
Oh, fuck.
I was like, if I didn't do fucking jujitsu as much as I did and get thrown around as much as I do, I would have been in the hospital with a fucking broken collarbone for sure.
Oh, man. I was wearing pads, and my buddy, he comes riding back up the trail because he's like, where's fucking Dave? And first thing he says, he's like, holy fuck. And I look, and there's just blood running down my arm, dripping all over the bike, all over the ground. Like, it was gnarly. Like, it punctured deep. Even the guy admitting was like, whoa. It's a good one.
Like when I got hit with a hammer on my head, and I could feel it fill my shoe up.
Wonderful. Hammer. How have you not got the nickname Hammer? I don't understand.
I did. There's flash sheets made for me that are called Hammerhead Hedley.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Just that one just never stuck, right? Because it's like it was too long of a story to explain to people why I had that nickname. So
yeah,
whatever. Anyways, how you doing?
You should have got hammers on for your sideburns.
No, because like the hammer skins.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
And no one's gonna believe you got a big fucking hammer.
Yeah. True, right? Like, yeah, but whatever.
That was false advertising.
Yeah. I know I got it.
Yeah.
Peach-colored water bottle.
Yeah. Oh, fuck.
How was Oregon?
Oregon was great. Had a good time. So good to get time away from everything and get some... Fuck, man. I never think I'm that burnt out, and then I go on vacation, and I'm just like, oh, fuck. It's so nice just to decompress from everything, like... Yeah, I'd love getting up and working on shit, but man, it takes a toll on you after a while.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I'm so looking forward. Like 1 week, man. 1 week and we start our fucking road trip.
It'd be great.
Like,
we're gonna have so much fun bugging the motherfuckers at the convention.
So excited, dude. Me and Julia are so excited. She was just gone for 5 days.
Oh man.
I don't know how I made it.
Oh fuck, you're funny.
Fucking me and Riri the dog just sitting here fucking depressed. Like, what do we do? What do we do with ourselves?
Oh fuck.
No, we're stoked. I cannot wait to start that job. We're so excited. We might even leave a day early if I don't book anything. So.
Oh, nice.
I'm looking forward. Yeah, my idea is because Paul from my shop has left, and he's joined that great crew at Radio Block in Calgary.
Yep.
I have Alice. She's totally a part of the shop, but she's very self-autonomous. She only works like 2 months or 2 weeks out of a month. But she's leaving August 1st. And then so it's just going to be me, Greg, Wesley, Anton, the realism guy, when he comes in. He's off and on. And then Derek, of course. So I'm not going to bring anybody else on, I don't think, unless the right person approaches me. Like, I don't really want to advertise it. So many people are advertising right? And so many, it's just like,
I know this guy. He's got this platform. You can find
right,
people.
totally. So I'm not too worried. I'm not too worried about it because I was just thinking, I was like, you know what, man, I've been pretty lazy this last while. Derek's not like, Derek can take on small stuff, but he's so focusing on like traditional stuff and that. I'm like, dude, you need to focus on
everything.
Shit, or else I'm not going to be able to, like, when these emails roll in, I can't forward them to you if you can't do them, right?
Yeah,
so
totally.
You're going to limit yourself, right? So for the time being, it's because it's going to take them a bit to get there for that stuff, you know? I'm just going to start doing it. Like,
fuck yeah.
I got a family coming in on Saturday, bunch of little tattoos. And then I got Tuesday. I don't normally work Tuesdays, but this group of women, like 3 or 4 of them, they all want to get like little tattoos. And same thing, they wanted it on Thursday. And I'm like, I'm going on vacation Thursday. They're like, what about Tuesday? And I was like, I don't work Tuesdays. But then I wrote back, I was like, wait, I'm going on vacation. I'll work.
Yeah, I can do Tuesday. Totally.
So that's going to kind of be my plan when I come back. I'm just going to like start picking up that stuff and doing, you know, it's not that I've been avoiding it. It's not like I'm too good to do it, right? But I just let other people kind of take that stuff on for so long. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm tired. I'm going to do all that stuff.
It's fun.
You know, so
there's nothing like tattooing people when it's their first tattoo or they only got a couple. I mean, you give them a good experience. It's like
stoked.
You feel great, you know, like
totally. And then when they want their second one, I can give them to one of the other guys.
Yeah.
They're stoked and comfortable at the shop and stuff. But yeah, like I got a guy coming in for, you know, I just started a fun piece on a guy I know, and then I have a guy coming in tomorrow for a consultation for a sleeve, and of course I'm still going to do all that stuff. But I was just like, you know what, for the next while, maybe I'll just focus on the little non-stressful stuff.
Yeah. Fuck, it's fun, man.
Wes is crushing it, and Greg's doing more and more color realism. He just posted this Spider-Man that's healed. It's like his second color portrait. It's awesome. It's great. I think you should start really focusing on more of that stuff.
Crazy.
Yeah. So, you know, but yeah,
wild.
It is what it is, you know? So, and
cool.
Yeah, Kelowna will be fun. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to paddleboarding.
Fuck yeah. Tam's going to be away for a race this Sunday, so she might leave the Saturday night and come back Sunday evening, but
cool.
Yeah, I'll get out on the lake and do some paddling for sure.
Like, you know, Friday.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Figure it out.
Yeah, for sure.
I can't wait, dude. Can't wait.
You know, because I definitely don't want to be spending 12 hours a day at convention.
No, and I just realized I got to check my schedule because I think I'm fully booked for that whole weekend. I'm so dumb.
I guess you're tattooing him at the convention.
Oh, fuck no. That'd be funny.
Oh, God. Wow.
Crazy. Yeah, I want to get into some stuff with you.
I knew you were going to have an agenda.
Of course. But before we do that, I just want to say I've got this, if anyone who's listening, I have this big fucking contest going on for Hold Fast Social Club. I'm giving a ton of giveaways. Go check it out. Read the fucking rules and follow them. Like, I've got all these people. All these people tagging people, and no one's done all the other shit. It's like there's 5 people right now that qualify out of like the 100 that have been like tagging people. It's like, read the rules, man.
I don't know if Gagne's qualified or not, but that dude wants to.
Gagne, he qualifies.
Like, not only when I was like scrolling through your post, I was just like, God damn.
He's playing to win. Does the motherfucker even use pens?
He likes some certain stuff for sure. Yeah. So
yeah, well, he's not going to win. This is for tattooers only, not piercers.
Yeah.
Oh, just kidding, Ryan. We love you. But
damn.
Yeah, really, what I wanted to, you know, we do this thing, and some people know who we are, but I think it'd be great to get into background a little bit, and I'd love to chat about your background because it's far more interesting than mine. You've got all these stories, and people always want to know, well, where does he come from?
Then come and hang out with me.
This is what this is for.
What? No, this is to interview other people. Dude,
I know, but not this episode.
Did you not flip through the True North book? I am not even in it.
No, I figured you'd do that. That's typical of you. Aiming to be some kind of weird enigma.
No, aiming.
Yeah, I know your history. You've told me enough times because you don't shut up about it. But I'm sure other people would love to to hear about it because it is interesting. I want to hear about.
Yeah, but which timeline?
Well, we'll start at the beginning.
Like Bill said, I live 3 lifetimes in a year.
Dog years. How old does that make you?
Old.
Yeah, vampiric. Yeah, I want to know how you got started because I know it's a crusty start and people love hearing about that shit. And
well, I got the same start as everybody else, man. Like, shouldn't have started. Did.
Yeah.
No, so I built my first tattoo machine out of a remote control car motor that I plugged directly into the wall. And I did crossed battle axes on my forearm. And I started doing the Venom goat head from the Black Metal album.
Yeah.
I was 13.
Jesus Christ.
And I was grounded. So I was kind of like, well, fucking stuff. That was the thing is what my parents learned. Like most parents are like, we're going to take away TV. My parents should have taken away anything that I could disassemble. If I didn't have the parents I had, which junkies, it's the easiest. We won't get into that whole part of it.
No, no.
People, I probably would have been like an engineer or something other than a piece of shit. And tattooing made me not be a piece of shit eventually, right? But like there was many years of being a total piece of shit. But yeah, so I built the tattoo machine. I don't even know, honestly, I don't even know where. I probably saw it on a fucking TV show or a documentary or something. I built it out of a remote control car, like an L bracket, some tubing, and like just, yeah. And fuck, man, it hurt. It ripped it apart. Like, and it burnt out the motor so fast. Then I asked my friend, might have been Barry Chapman. You remember Chapman?
Oh, fuck yeah.
I might have got a remote control car motor off of him because I still thought that was a great idea. And I had old like racetracks and like train tracks and the speedometer kind of like almost like a rheostat dial. Yeah. I figured, and again, this is like no soldering. This is like me just cutting wire and then like twisting
them up
and shoving it into the wall and then like using the fucking dial so I could turn it down. And even at the lowest, it was still way too fast.
There'd be so much torque on a remote control car. Like,
it was
like those motors would be torquey as fuck.
There was more ink going out of the top of the tube than there was going out the bottom. Like, and like honestly too, like if that was the tube opening, like the needle would be like that. So the needle was like,
oh fuck.
Like I probably have pictures of that Venom goat head, and it would look like fat outlines until you look really close and you realized it was like fucking stippling.
Stippling. You were stippling.
Yeah, totally. So
you figured that out quick.
That was, so I had that, I did that. And then of course my parents were stoked. And then this girl, Catherine, this skinhead girl from the beaches that I was hanging out with, we were walking by the Chinamans.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, can you buy me a tattoo? And it was like $30. And I went in and I got a little panther on my hand. And then I went back like a week later and I got a tiny little eagle on my, like, it was seriously, it was like fucking that big with like, 4 red stars, a little bit of shading with a banner and nothing in the banner. Because it said USN in the banner. And I'm like, well, I want that. And, I had it like right up on my delt. And then I had like a bulldog on my arm by this guy, Jeff, who tattooed out of his house in, I'm trying to remember the housing development.
Is it in Scarborough?
It was in Scarborough.
Did he tattoo in his basement?
No, he tattooed in a townhouse. So
okay.
So this is a long time ago. So this was before Courtney was born. So this is 80s. So I got a bulldog head by him when I was 16. And so then I started getting sleeves by mostly Bruce. Schmuck. I got tattooed by Stu, and then I got sleeved by Bruce because
that was Lower East Side.
Lower East Side, and so I had, I played around with the homemade tattooing and stuff like that for a while. I lived on the streets for a bit. I'll just jump around here. So I lived on the streets for a bit. This guy, Paul Dunderhead, he had a homemade tattoo machine that was a lot better because he had been to jail. And he ended up
painting a great picture of Toronto and Scarborough at that time.
Well, you know what I mean? Like, dude, two of the people that I squatted with fucking murdered people and were like, yeah.
Yeah.
My friend Mark Han is in the top 100 grotesque murders of Canadian history. I don't know what to say. I didn't hang out with great fucking people when I was a kid, man. And so Paul Dunderhead gave me the machine, ended up doing a bunch of, crap on myself and on friends, gave my friend Ron Lance a fucking horrible blood infection. Because, of course, we're dipping straight into India ink that we're stealing from the store and shit. We don't know.
Yeah,
and, again, this is 80s. This would have been probably like 1988. Yeah, probably 1988. Probably at least 2 years before Courtney was born. So, 16. And
Crazy.
then I went and got a big home stereo system. When I was 17, I got a big home stereo system from one of those rent-to-own places. I was underage. I was 17, and they gave me this giant fucking stereo. And I had it for like a couple months, and then I was like, oh, I wonder if I can like get tattoos if I sell this. I phoned Bruce and was like, I phoned Lower East Side and was just like, hey man, I have this stereo. I was wondering if you guys want to trade for tattoos. And I think it might have been Stu that answered because he was like, hold on. And then Bruce got on, and I'm like, hey man, it's Shawn. And he's like, Shawn who? And I'm like, Skinhead Shawn. And he's like, oh, okay. And I'm like, yeah, I have a stereo. He's like, is it hot? And I'm like, no. And I'm like, I actually have papers for it. He's like, what do you want the shop? I'm like, okay. So I loaded up on my illegal Mustang that I didn't have a driver's license for, and drive over to Lower East Side, and I open the trunk, and he's like, this is like brand new. I'm like, yeah. And it's like tower speakers. It's the one when you have like the tuner, the cassette, like it had the fucking racks and everything.
Yeah.
Like, what do you want for it? I'm like, what do you want to give me? He's like, I'll do sleeves on you. I'm like, okay. But I didn't think of getting like sleeves. I was just like, I'll just come in like every Friday and get a tattoo or two. So I was just going in every week and just get a tattoo on. And then I was 18, and there was a guy named Dave Hughes that tattooed in Scarborough, also at his house. But he had like a legit setup. Like it was a shop. He had autoclave, he had everything. And I had gotten tattooed by him also. He was a nice guy. All my friends one day were just like, you should get into tattooing again. And I was like, don't you remember I almost killed Ron? They're like, no, but if you had real stuff, because the Chili Peppers album has come out now and they all want tattoos. And so Steve Martin, a bunch of my friends like Bernardino and all these guys, they all chipped in. I phoned Dave Hughes and I'm like, hey man, you got any tattoo equipment for sale? He's fuck off. Hangs up. Phone rings. He calls back. I'm at my friend Steve Martin's house. I'll never forget this because he calls back. Because I said, hey, it's Shawn. Do you have any tattoo equipment for sale? Fuck off. Hangs up. He must have star 69 it. He calls back and he's like, which Shawn? Skinhead Shawn? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, oh, actually, I do have some shit. And I'm like, oh, really? He's like, full kit, bro, $500. I'm like, okay, come check it out. And I show up, and it's that guy Jeff's.
Oh, wow.
Guy Jeff that did my first professional tattoo. And I'm just like, and he tells me, and I was like, that guy did this tattoo. And he's like, no way. He's like, yeah, his wife finally was just like, you're not doing that shit anymore, and made him give it to Dave to sell.
Oh, wild.
So Dave gave me a quick rundown on some stuff, some needle making stuff. And then I took it home. And then I don't know why. I don't know what it was, but I was like, I should phone Lower East Side and tell them that I'm going to tattoo. And it was like, bring your stuff to the shop. Uh-oh. And I was like, fuck. They're going to take my equipment. So I go, and I'm 51 now. This was when I was 18. Stu probably wouldn't even remember this, though. Why those guys were good to me or nice to me, I have no fucking clue, but they were. I went in, Stu was tattooing, and he's like, I had it all in a box. He's like, just put it over there, come back in an hour. Okay. Went and hit a John Anderson's Burgers for the Toronto peeps. And then I went back, and he's like shaking the ink bottles, throwing them in the garbage. I was like, what are you, like, you're throwing away my ink, right? But I'm not just standing there, wide-eyed. He's like, come in the back. I go in the back. He pulls out powdered pigment, shows me how to mix powdered pigment on the spot. Back in the day, because we just used Listerine back in the day.
Yeah.
He made me some primary colors, and then he like showed me like the chemiclave, explained it to me, all this stuff. Then he gave me a bunch of needles that were used but sterile. And he's like, take these, practice with these. He's like, if I fucking find out you use these on anybody, like, it's over. I was just like, yes, sir. Why he did that, I don't fucking know. He gave me a stack of needles, because back in the day, for people that don't know, we'd make our own needles. We would solder the configurations of the different needles we needed and then solder them to a bar. After we were done tattooing them, you didn't throw them away. You would take them and you would soak them, and then you would autoclave them so that you could safely de-needle the bar, clean the solder, re-autoclave the bars, make new needle heads, solder them back on, then autoclave them again. So he gave me used needles that were technically sterile, and there were people that reused needles even though they were sterile back then. But he was like, if you fucking use it, I was like, oh, yeah, I won't. He's like, go get pig's feet. And I'm like, okay. I went and bought pig's feet. I got like fucking oranges, and then I went back after I'd used a bunch of them, and then he showed me how to make some needles, and he autoclaved them, and I tattooed my legs myself. And then I started. I basically knew how to make stuff, right? And then I started making shit, and I was like, I wasn't doing, because I wasn't reusing anything at the time. I was doing all like chemical soaks for sterilization. Because, of course, Studio One, you go there and just buy all your shit. I had my little ultrasonic and all my soaks and my scrubs, all that shit. And my dad let me, I hadn't lived at home at this point. I was 18. I hadn't lived at home for almost 5 years. And I was now having a kid with a girl that I wasn't really with. And my dad was like, my stepdad was like, you can move back into the house. You can pay me $50 a week rent, and you can turn the room in the basement into a tattoo shop. And I was like, okay. And he's like, fucking same rules. So when I was growing up in this fucking house, man, I could smoke in the house when I was 11 years old. But if somebody was to call me after 9 p.m., I'd get in trouble. So he's like, even though I'm now fucking 18, he's like, same fucking rules. If anybody fucking calls, like, nobody here at night. Like, when he comes home from work and after he's had his dinner and he smokes his fucking hot knives and he's like buzzing out watching TV, he doesn't want anybody around. So he's like, same rules apply. Nobody better fucking call here after 9. No gas or whatever. He's like, unless it's that Chapman kid. He loved Barry and he liked Jason and Barry Viles and those guys. So I was like, okay, sure. And then it was like, of course, in the beginning, I was, tattooing a bunch on Jason Smith. I did one on Barry Viles, but I did a lot on Jason Smith. My friend Grimace was getting fucking covered. I did I have pictures of all this stuff. I did a fucking back piece on Grimace, like sleeves, like all kinds of shit. I've been tattooing at this point on my own with very little. The only guidance I got, like, that's what was great about the Lower East Side guys, is like, they didn't teach me how to tattoo. They didn't offer me an apprenticeship. But what they did do is make sure that I fucking understood what was right and wrong when tattooing people.
Yeah.
So very early on, like, I smoked with, everybody smoked all that stuff, but sterile, being clean and sterile, and the equipment you use not to reuse it and stuff like that was like, basically I was told I'd fucking get my arms fucking smashed if I did anything stupid, right?
Yeah.
Because home tattooers, that's what people don't realize. We don't like home tattooers or these fucking like secret studio tattooers, not because they're like charging less than us and all this stuff, but those are the people that end up fucking the actual community of tattooing by cutting corners. When these guys are getting shut down for, bad cross contamination, not being sterile, tattooing underage fucking people, all these other things that reflects on tattoo studios, not fucking home tattoo studios.
No, totally.
Because they can't regulate home tattoo studios.
Yeah.
So they start over-regulating us.
Like, how many cities have been...
As a fucking old grumpy white fucking tattooer with privileges doesn't like home tattooers. Like...
Yeah, no, it just takes one uneducated tattooer to give somebody hep to get the whole fucking city shut down. We've seen it before, right? Like...
Yeah.
That's the worry. It's the uneducated home tattooer that's never taken a bloodborne pathogens course, never had anyone walk them through proper sterilization, or you know, had an apprenticeship. It would be great too. Yeah. Had a lot of experience.
And I got lucky. And look, I gave my friend a fucking blood infection. We were kids. Like, we were 15 probably, you know what I mean? Like, because we didn't fucking know, right? But the thing is that most home tattooers are not retarded 15-year-old kids tattooing each other, right? There are kids doing that.
Yeah.
Kids doing that at my age, and there's kids still doing it today. But those are not who I'm talking about. I'm talking about people that like are running Facebook ads and Marketplace and all. They're like running a tattoo studio out of their house, but then cutting every corner possible.
Absolutely.
Money, because they don't make a lot of money, because they charge $40 a fucking hour.
Yeah.
You know, so anyways.
Let's circle around.
Yeah. Land the plane, Shawn. And I started drinking because I was afraid you're going to bring up Teddy. I've been having a rough go with that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that another time.
And okay, so I started tattooing, and then it was like friends of friends, and then it's becoming like people I don't even know. Like, so I was on probation out of jail, and I got a work placement at a printer place in downtown Toronto. They were super cool. Like, I was basically there just to clean. And again, for whatever reason, people liked me, and they're
people still like you, Shawn. It's because you have personality.
I know, but I just mean, like, I'm a kid when I came from, you know what I mean? Like, people are always kind of like, what do they? I'm like, I don't know. People just, I don't know. I walk into a room and I don't know. But so I go to this company, and it's like, you know, I'm a piece of shit. I'm a kid. I'm covered in tattoos, and not good ones. And by not good, I don't mean like not well done. They were well done, but they were not good tattoos. I had people like murdered on my arms. I had I had a terrorist tattooed on my arm. I had bad tattoos. And, you know, if somebody like my girlfriend that was pregnant was like, don't get that tattoo, I would immediately get that tattoo. That's my personality. It always been like that. But, so anyways, they were like, hey, you should come and work in the art department area. I'm like, okay. So I started doing, like, he started teaching me like the old school, like proper, like almost kind of like rubber stamp, pasting to make flyers and stuff. So I was like learning how to do all that stuff. And then I was watching, they were mostly printing on old offset printers, like the old presses.
Cool.
They did all CIBC Canada business cards. And they were all gold foil pressed. And I was just like, that's cool, man. And they're showing me all the stuff. They're showing me all the like tools and dies and everything. And then they're just like, do you want to learn how to run this? And I'm just like, okay.
Yeah.
And then I was running it and stuff. And then they're like, hey, if you ever want to, like, and then they found out I was like tattooing, because I was just tattooing part-time, of course, out of my dad's basement at this time. They're like, hey, if you ever want to make your own business cards or something. I was like, really? And so they did foil embossing. So I did a foil embossed card. And then they also did kind of like a card where after it was printed, it got like almost like a plastic sprinkled on them, and then went through like a heat process.
Okay.
And then it went through like a blower and a dryer. So all the printing was like raised.
Oh, cool.
Pretty sure I still have that card. And because I called myself First Impressions Tattoo. And it was a skeleton arm holding a tat machine.
Dude.
I know that the gold foil ones left because I only printed like 50 gold foil ones, and I gave them away like as VIP things. But I'm pretty sure I still have the first impression. I'm pretty sure I still have the first impression ones.
That shit is so 90s, but it still holds up today.
Well,
first impressions.
Yeah, that would have been 1989. Because I went to jail before Courtney was born. I went to jail like right after I came back from living on the streets of Vancouver. So yeah, like I said, I lived a lot of lives in 1 year, man.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And so then I kind of was like tattooing more and more, and people started like wanting more and more. And my dad was like, "This is not cool." And also I started thinking like, "This is not cool either," because like just Bruce and Stu in my head was like, you know, this isn't like a fucking game. This isn't, you know, this is real. And I just was like, I need to either do this full time, like put all my energy into it, or not do it at all. And so one day I was no longer at that printing press place. I had finished my probation. They only had me on because they got free labor from, you know, Corrections Board of Canada. And then I ended up getting this job at a Yellow Pages factory. And we had Yellow Pages from all over the world. And we just palleted them and sent them out to places. And on my lunch break, I would just go through and just look through, go right to T and look for tattoo and just rip all the tattoo ads out and just collect them. But anyway, so one day I'm sitting there and I'm like sitting outside. It's like 10 a.m. You know, the coffee truck is there and everybody's lined up for the coffee truck to get their shitty Danish and a coffee. And I'm smoking my cigarette and I'm just like, I need to either do this full time or not at all. And I was just like, I'm gonna do it full time. And I just left. I just went and got on a bus and left. Never picked up my last check. No, that's not the first time I've done this either.
That's quiet quitting. That's actually quiet quitting.
I was working at a gas station and up in where my mom lived, Oak Ridges. And I was like up there because I was trying to get like my head on straight a bit because I was, you know, doing too much shit. And I was working at this gas station down at the end of the street. And it's like fucking pitch black. There's no street lights. There's like not one fucking car coming into the gas station at nighttime and stuff. And I was there only for a couple weeks. And I had taken a cab up to my mom's from Toronto. It was like $150.
Holy fuck.
Yeah, the cab driver thought I was going to murder him. So I was like, no, I was throwing cash at him and shit. Like, no, it's all good. I don't care. When he picked me up in downtown Toronto, I was so fucked up. And then I go up there. I basically just like woke up in my mom's basement like 3 days later. And then I was like, one day I just like saw they were hiring. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to get a job. My mom's like, you're staying here? I'm like, for now. I didn't know what else I was going to do. But I lasted like maybe 3 weeks. And it was like the middle of the fucking night. Same thing. I was sitting in the gas station. And I was just like, fuck this. I locked up the gas station and pushed the keys through the mailbox. Never went back and got my check.
Oh, fuck.
Just fucking left. I went to my mom's. I passed out, woke up in the morning. I was like, see you later. And then I didn't see her again for like a couple of years. And just, yeah, it was just. And then I ended up at, so I was living in East Toronto, Scarborough and stuff. And then I would always like BMX downtown, go visit old friends and stuff like that. I was like on probation. I wasn't supposed to be around certain people and stuff like that. So I'm just like BMX downtown. And I'd always pass by Art of Torture on Sherbourne Street, the original little, 100 square foot location. And I'd pop in every once in a while, say hi to James and those guys and stuff. And I have pictures of that too, actually. Actually, Rich Harding, actually, he was like, dude, I'm keeping this picture. And it's a picture of me, Corey, and James, and this guy Taz, all standing outside of Art of Torture in like probably 1990.
Amazing.
1990. And I was still I was tattooing as much as I could. It was my only job, but I wasn't, I was whatever. And but sometimes I'd go by James's and he'd be fucking slammed and like Corey wouldn't be there. He'd be by himself and he'd just be like, hey, you want to do some tattoos? And I'd be like, sure. I'd fucking throw my BMX in the back, just sit down and just grab tattoo machines and just start banging out tattoos. And then at the end of the day, I'd be like, oh, what do I owe you? And he'd be like, fuck, just keep it. I'd be like, cool. and go get fucking wasted at the it was across the street from the Paddock and Sneaky D's. I can't think of the name of it at the moment. It was an old Greek restaurant. They allowed underage drinkers.
Was it downstairs?
No, that place was great. That downstairs and upstairs.
Yeah.
Did you ever go? Yeah, my friends fucking threw like fire extinguisher size pepper spray can bomb in that bar.
I almost got tattooed meeting skinheads in that bar.
Yeah. Yeah, we used to, oh my God, I used to drink so much there. I can't remember the name of the place, though. Anyway, so I just
hold up,
drink and then like end up riding home. It's like hour and a half BMX ride back to where I lived and stuff like that.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Corey that worked there, did he end up working at Lower East Side later?
Big guy?
Yeah. Fucking neck tattoos and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Is that...
fuck. I can't remember his last name at the moment. It'll come to me. Yeah, Corey never did leg day in his life, but he never missed a chest and shoulder day.
He was a big dude. When I worked at Highway 2 with Bruce, he worked at Lower East Side.
Yeah, he had his own shop for a while on Queen East. Yeah, he dated Dana. His pit bull bit my daughter, Courtney. When she was
shit.
Yeah. So, anyways, not his fault. Pit bulls eat babies. What do you expect?
Yeah.
And so anyway, I was riding by Art of Torture one day, and I popped in to say hi, and James was just like, "Hey, man, Corey's gone. You want to work here?" And I was like, "Okay." So I literally just went the next day, and it was so funny when he showed up because I had a tattoo studio, and I took it very seriously. I used to take apart my machines. If I didn't have a tattoo and I was just at home hanging out, I would take apart my tattoo machines. Literally break them on purpose to try and rebuild them. So I had like a wall. I have pictures of this room. I had a flash wall. I had my tattoo machines. I had all this stuff. So I show up at Art of Torture, and James was like, "Why do you have so much stuff?" Like he was shocked. He thought I was just gonna have like a tattoo machine, and he was like, "You have almost as much stuff as I do." Like I think it kind of weirded him out. And I was just like, yeah, man, because like I tattoo. And then I started tattooing there, and James was not there a lot, like at all. Like I'd get there early in the morning, open. The place was tiny, fucking tiny. And I would get there and I would tattoo some days, literally 11 a.m. till after midnight, like 1 a.m. I would be telling people like, no, get out. Because we were right beside the right beside the YMCA drop-off center for like all the prisons from Kingston. The buses would all come and drop all them off at the YMCA, and they'd stay there until they got like their halfway house placements, et cetera, et cetera. They all get their government checks. So they'd all be showing up with their ladies of the night girlfriends. I want to get her name tattooed on my arm. Put a line through this other one. And this guy, I won't say his last name. This guy, John, was an old friend of mine. He's a fucking garbage human fucking being. I hope he's fucking dead now. But anyway, he used to come because he used to get so bad. He used to just come and hang out and basically work security. Like he threw a guy in front of a moving bus. Like that is bad. My friend Drew used to come by and draw and shit like that because he went to Ryerson. And same, he was actually on parole for some pretty serious stuff like conspiracy and that. So he wasn't allowed to hang out with a lot of certain people. So he would just come and hang out at the tattoo shop. And it's like, dude, you're surrounded by people that you're not supposed to be around. He's like, yeah, but they're not my friends.
A shop like Art of Torture just attracts that kind of, like the name Art of Torture, that just attracts a certain type of clientele.
Yeah.
I never set foot in Art of Torture. I remember driving by it and there was a fucking mannequin in the window. And I was like, I'm never going in that place. It was the creepiest fucking like window display.
Like that mannequin?
Too much information.
Hey, it's for Shan's art show. I still got to paint it. But yeah, so I was at Art of Torture. Man, I tattooed a lot there, dude. Like so much.
And that was all like you're doing like little bangers and stuff. Is it all flash? Is it some custom stuff?
Horrible
like
flash, horrible custom stuff. Like people wanted horrible tattoos. I would draw horrible tattoos, right? We're getting a lot of the projects, Regent Park areas like that. So with that, I was tattooing this guy. I'll never forget. His name is Eric Scary. Like, you're fucking serious, dude. And I did my first sleeve. I did a sleeve on Grimace, but like this was like a guy I didn't know came in and he was just like, he had a couple tattoos, but like the skin cheese was big in the day. And he's just skin cheese and flames and other shit. And I was just like, fuck yeah, freehand and everything and shit. And he was cool. I tattooed a bunch of people there. You know, I tattooed a lot of like gang members from Regent Park and shit. Like, hey man, can you put a tattoo on my chest, but work around the bullet hole? It's like, yeah, for sure, man.
Yeah, gonna have to.
All good. And then, so I was there, and so piercing was pretty big. I knew, so in Toronto back in the day, like the kind of like fetish scene, like they had a piercer named Lilith Ouroboros, and she was very hard to like deal with and stuff. My girlfriend at the time had been pierced by her a lot, but piercing was now starting to become like in. And I would get normal people coming into Art of Torture asking for piercings. And it would be like, wait up. Even if we did piercing, don't get it done here. Like, and, you know, like I would like mention Lilith and she was so, like, I just knew like they were going to get treated not great. And then there was a new piercing shop on Queen West, Queen East-ish, Queen West, and it was called New Tribe. I hadn't met these guys, but I had heard about them. And so I just started sending everybody to them. And man, I was sending them a lot of fucking people. I was sending them so many people that they decided that they needed to actually come to the shop and meet who was sending them all the people.
Crazy.
And it's so funny because it was Mikey and it was Dave Green. Dave Green and now Sacred Heart.
Yeah.
Super nerd. You know, dress shirt, vest, ties, dress shoes, coming into
Art of Torture.
east of Yonge Street.
Yeah, East Toronto, fucking hardcore. Back then.
Mm-hmm. And Mikey, like, you know, bisexual, like ex-gay porn star, piercer, very flamboyant, and huge piercings and stuff, and just so they did not, like, they walked in and I was just like, they're not here for tattoos.
Yeah.
And they were just like, hey man, are you Shawn? And I'm like, yeah. They're like, oh hey, we're from New Tribe. And I'm like, oh cool. And they start talking to me, and they're like, you know, fuck, thank you so much, man. Like, you send us so much business. And I'm like, yeah, I don't want to send them, you know, at the time I didn't want to send them to, and there was another tattoo shop I didn't want to send them to, and Lilith. And I was just like, whatever, you know, I'll send them to these, because I heard they were younger people, kind of like, you know, hip to the scene and all that. So I was sending them there. And so then they start telling me they have tattooer now. And I was like, oh, right on. They're like, oh, maybe you've heard of him, Dave Wildenbauer. And I'm like, nope. And they're like, yeah, he apprenticed under Bill Baker. And I'm like, well, I know who that is, because I knew a lot of people that got tattooed by Bill in the 80s and early 90s, of course. And I'm like, but they're like, oh, yeah. So I was like, oh, cool. So I went by. They're like, oh, come by and show the shop sometime. I'm like, okay. So I did. I went by one day and met them, and met Paul. He was one of the owners. Didn't pierce or anything like that. And I met Dave. He was kind of standoffish. Rightfully so, right? We're early tattooers, like new. It's like, who the fuck are you? You know what I mean? Sniffing around.
Yeah.
My new gig. And they were all cool though. I got along with them and stuff. And I really liked Dave's flash. Like, he was doing the San Francisco new school style stuff that you only saw in the magazines. Nobody else was doing that stuff. And it was just kind of like, cool, man. Like, sweet. And I ended up busting. I can't remember what happened, but I wiped it on my BMX. and I can't remember if it was my leg or my arm. I fucked something up and I couldn't work. And so I didn't go to Art of Torture for like almost 4 weeks. And in that time, James apprenticed the guy and had him tattooing like right away. And I showed up and James was just like, sorry, man, there's no room for you. And all my stuff was in a garbage bag. And I was like,
cold.
I was like, cool. Well, you know, the funny thing is that's when Dave Green put all my shit in a green garbage bag at Sacred Heart. That was like very triggering because I was just like, yeah, somebody's going to get fucking murdered. And, but anyway, so I was just like, okay, cool.
Anyway,
like I'd already been away for 4 weeks. It's like, I love tattooing, but it was not the tattooing I wanted to do. But I just stayed there because I made so much money there. Like, it was crazy how much money I was making at my age. Like, new kid and shit. Like, come on. And so I left. I was like, well, can I just grab this shit later? He's like, yeah, of course, man. He's like, you know, look, no hard feelings. I'm like, okay. Yeah. You know? So I just ended up walking downtown. From there, I walked over to New Tribe, and I was just like, they're like, oh, what are you doing? And I'm like, oh, nothing, whatever. Told them about getting fired and shit. And they're like, oh, no way. I'm like, yeah. They're like, that sucked. I'm like, yeah. And they ended up, I think Mikey phoned me a couple days later. And he's like, do you want to work at New Tribe? And I was like, sure. And he's like, okay, before you get too excited, though, he's like, there's not really any room for you to tattoo.
Because that shop is huge.
No. This is the old New Tribe that was on the second floor up behind, not off the wall. It was like a store like that.
Black Market?
Kind of like that. So it was on Queen. It was second floor, very small. Waiting room could hold like 3 people. Mikey had his piercing chair. Dave Wildenbauer had a tattoo chair in the same room. And it was all windows, dude. Like, remember those old, like, square, thick glass windows with the tar in between? So, like, magnifying glasses, basically. Ugh. Like, you sat in that tiny room, it was like magnifying glasses. So, they're like, you know, we don't know how much tattooing you're going to be able to do, because, of course, Dave's priority. I'm like, yeah, for sure. They're like, but we'll pay you to be counter guy. I was like, okay. And they're like, you have to wear long sleeves, though. I'm like, okay. Because of my tattoos.
Yeah. Because of your offensive tattoos.
Yeah. I'm like, okay. And I started right away. And, you know, I'm like a fucking carny, right? I'm good with people, and I was really good at the counter, and I ended up getting along really well with Dave. He knew I wasn't there to like take anything away from him and stuff. And then he was my introduction to Bill. So that's how I knew who Bill was, but that was my introduction to Bill. Dave was like, Bill's coming to town. Do you want to get tattooed by him? And I was like, I do. And he's like, what do you want to get? And I'm like, I don't know why I'm such an asshole. I don't know why. Ever since I was young, I like to make tattooers do shit that they're not into doing.
Yep.
So Dave's like, oh, do you want to get tattooed by him? I'm like, it's Bill Baker. And I'm like, oh, you know your flash sheet that you did with Jesus with his hands out with the nails and he looks all scared? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, I want that with stained glass crosses behind it with a question mark. And he's like, and I'm like on the back of my head. And he's just like, okay. And then Bill's like, what do you want? I'm like, I want his flash. I want you to do it. He's like, okay. And while he was tattooing me, Stuart Archibald came by.
Oh, crazy.
This is years before Stuart tattooed, actually. Stuart had like his MC Escher work by Bill around his leg. While Bill was tattooing me, that's all I was staring at was the ants wrapped around Stuart's leg. So I was so blown away by it. I was like, that's a fucking tattoo, man. Like, I'd seen good tattoos. Like, this guy, Rogue, I knew had really good tattoos by Bill. Like, a lot of people had really good tattoos by Bill, but they were also very not correct PC tattoos, right? But they're so perfectly. And I was like, oh my God, like, that's cool. And I remember him tattooing me, and he has long, nappy hair, and I could feel the sweat, because that room was so fucking hot in the summer. I could feel the sweat dripping off of his hair into my I could feel like his hair kept like getting caught
in the tattoo
machine. And between the contact point. And then he goes, oh, this might hurt a little bit. Well, he's like magging it. And I'm like, okay. And I was just like, oh, what the fuck was that? And he's like, it might have been a mole.
Oh my God. It might have been. It's no longer there.
And I was just like, this is my favorite human being on the planet. And that was it. I don't know why. We jived, and that was it. And then, then New Tribe, we left there, not maybe 6 months. I think I was there for Counter doing 6 months. And then that's when we got that huge spot, which they're still into today.
Yeah.
Since, fuck the early 90s, man. Like, they've been there forever. Like,
it's got to be 30 plus years, right?
Yeah.
Like,
and that's when we moved in there. And then, it was good. Then I was tattooing full time there. And then I got burnt out. Like, I was there for a while, and then I just got really burnt out. And I left and I opened my own little spot in the beaches. And then Dave Green had left New Tribe because he wasn't permanent there. He just came out from Winnipeg to like basically get sober, I think. And then he went back to Winnipeg. Then he was in Vancouver. And I opened my shop and I was like, hey man, he had quit piercing. I was like, you want to come and pierce in my shop? He's like, I don't pierce anymore. I'm like, come on, just come pierce in my shop. So he came out because he had come out a lot to New Tribe. And then that's how I met Steve Simons, who was also a piercer and jewelry maker and all that. And then when I opened my shop, I had Dave come out to hang out. And then I had some other piercers start. They were super cool. And then I was going to do Adam Sky came and did a guest spot at my shop, Fusion.
Yep.
And that's how I met him. And then I was going to go out and do a guest spot with him, but I didn't really want to leave my shop either, right? This was kind of like a new thing and stuff like that. And so it was funny because Dave Green was like, I'll come out and hang out. I'm like, okay. So he came out and he brought Chad Woodley with him. And Chad Woodley had gotten offered a job at Sacred Heart. He hadn't started there yet, though. And I was going to do a guest spot there. And Chad was all like, don't fucking steal my job. Chad's first tattoo he's doing at my shop. I love this story. Tattoo he's doing it at my shop. I walk in. I'm so hungover because, again, I'm still just fucking drinking every fucking night because I'm at every bar because I'm cool. And I show up in my shop and I'm like, I haven't met Chad yet. And he's tattooing in my station. And I walk over. I'm like leaning on my like half wall. And I'm like, hey, man, I'm Shawn. How's it going? He's like, oh, how you going? And he's wiping the tattoo. And I'm like, cool, man. Did you mean to not do that right? What? And he was doing the crow poster.
Oh, fuck.
Totally forgot the eyes. He forgot the eyes in the wings.
Oh, my God.
You know, the whole point of the poster. That was my introduction to Chad.
Oh.
And then I made him tattoo me. And it was awesome.
Was that the Woodley mask?
Yeah, the mask that people made fun of for you. That mask was famous. Oh my God. I'd meet people from France, like Pierre's dad. He's like, oh, show me the mask. And I'd be like, oh, for fuck's sakes, man. It's like, dude, don't use that color. It won't work as a cover up. No, it's called coverall green. Here, in case you can't see me blinking. Yeah, I know it's called coverall green, but it doesn't actually mean it'll cover all. But anyways, it's gone again. But yeah, so I had that shop for a bit, and then Vancouver back, and then I went back to Vancouver, and then my shop vanished. And so did my guest spot in Vancouver. So I kind of got stranded in Vancouver.
What?
Yeah. And then so Adam had sold the shop. He just assumed it'd be okay for me to go guest spot. I assume. I don't think this was an intentional thing. So I show up to Vancouver. Blair and Glenn now own the shop. Chad Woodley works there. Rob Hope works there. I don't think Dave Nicholson was there. I think Dave had left for a bit.
Was Percy there?
Huh?
Was Percy there, or Percy had left?
No, Percy was gone. Native Images was open at this point.
Okay.
And, so I show up, he was gone. He hadn't opened Native Images yet. So anyway, so I show up and there's no spot for me. They're like, no, sorry, man. Trent's coming to work here. I'm like, okay. So luckily, Steve Simons and Bear had a piercing studio in Gastown. And they were just like, tattoo out of that room. I'm like, okay. I went to the Ivanhoe. I had met like the band Minority, Drexel's Eye, some other bands, because they had all come through Toronto and come by my shop because my counter guys were in bands. I had friends in bands and stuff. And so I just went to the Ivanhoe because that's all they talked about was the Ivanhoe. So I just literally show up because no cell phones. So I was just like, there's Jamie. There's Cam. There's all these people. They're just like, what the fuck are you doing here? And it's just like, yeah, man. And I'm tattooing in this private studio. So I was tattooing. I tattooed like the Chief, rest in peace. Jamie, all these other people. I was just tattooing, and they were getting me some work and stuff, like Bear, of course, and Steven. And then and then my shop is gone. Like I find out like I was supposed to be there for a few weeks, and then I was supposed to actually go down to Venice to meet up with Fear Factory, to hang out with them over the new year, and then go back to Toronto. That was the plan. So I'm there. My guest spot stuff kind of falls through. I don't really have the money to travel. So I just decided to kind of stay in Vancouver because I don't think Venice would have been the greatest. I don't want to go and live off of my friends. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In like that much. And I should have done it though, because who knows? I'd probably still be living down there. But so I'm trying to get a hold of the guys at my shop, and I can't get a hold of it. And then Amber, my piercer, I got a hold of her, and she's like, "Oh, you didn't hear?" And I'm like, "No." She's like, "Dude, basically after you left, they took my keys." I was like, "What?" Yeah, and shut the shop, took everything. They closed the shop, midnight moved it, and I was just like, "Okay, all right." And so I didn't know. So I just kind of stayed. I started, same thing, just drinking, going to the bars, tattooing when I could, and then, of course, I'd still see Chad and those guys all out, and then. I might have been Chad was like, "Hey, Glenn wants you to call him." So I went by the shop, and Glenn was like, "Chad's leaving for holidays." This was like November, and he's like, "Chad's going back to Winnipeg for Christmas. Do you want to come and fill in for him?" I was like, "Okay, sure." And he's like, "Cool, thanks, man." And then so I went in, doing my thing, doing work, and then one day I was just like looking at the schedule because I was just checking the next week. Because I knew I was there the next week, and then Chad would be back. So I was checking the schedule, but I just noticed my name just kind of kept going in the book.
Yeah.
And Glenn just kind of looked at me and was like, "Do you want to just stay?" I was like, "What? What happened to Trent?" And he's like, "Oh, he wanted too much or something." I think Trent wanted like what Glenn felt was too much, but was probably
fair. Yeah.
For Trent, you know what I mean, to be there.
Yeah.
So Trent decided not to be there, and thank you, Trent. And then so I ended up staying there. So then it was me, Chad, Rob, Blair, and Glenn, and
that was the original location up 10th and Alma.
Yeah, 10th and Alma. Yeah, where Skull Skates is now.
Yeah.
And so that was us for a little while, and then it was like, man, we should have piercing because we were sending all of our piercing down to like the underground where Greta pierced, my friend Greta, of course. And then also Next was getting a lot of that. And Next then brought in tattooers. And we're like, well, we don't want to send people to places that have tattooers.
Yeah,
right?
Totally.
So Dave had quit piercing. He didn't want to pierce anymore. Dave was basically sorting giant bags of clothes at what was that vintage shop that was downstairs on Robson where Clint was? Remember
Value
that?
Vintage?
Huh?
Was it called Value Vintage?
I think so. Yeah, Value Vintage. Yeah. It's where like all the Japanese tourists came to buy like the red stitch Levi's for like, thousands of dollars and shit. So Dave was there sorting huge bundles of clothes and steaming. That's how much he hated piercing.
Wow.
So I went down and I was just like, dude, come pierce. And he was like, fuck no. I was like, dude, just come. And so Glenn and Blair, they didn't want to have piercing at the shop because they didn't want to have to put that money out. That's a lot of money to carry that stock. And I was like, well, look, man, I'm like, just get somebody to like man a counter, right? Like, so I thought Dave could pierce. Greta runs underground. Like, do something. And so I was like, so the selling point to Dave was come and do it. And then, because I don't want to work with no piercers, because I was very picky. So I was like, I don't want to work with no piercers. It's not like you, Greta, Kevin Barker, Steve Simon stuff, unless you've trained them. So I was like, how about you come apprentice somebody, train somebody, and then we'll apprentice you as a tattooer. That was the selling point that he came to Sacred Heart to pierce. And
do what you got to do.
Yeah. And they brought in a counter, and then, that's how like Tim Luke ended up piercing there, and Lindsay and everybody else and stuff. And then, then Bill was out working at the Dutchman's and then left there. And then we're like, come here. And then Steve Moore, of course, was up in Whistler, and he was hanging out at Temple Tattoo, but that wasn't going too great. So it was like, come here.
Temple was great, man. It's a shame it didn't work because it was a great place to get tattooed.
Yeah. And then, so now it's me, Chad, Rob Hope, Dave Nicholson had come and gone again in there at one point. Steve Moore, Bill Baker, and now I had Michael working counter. Because Glenn was a nice guy. He had gotten rid of Blair now, and Glenn was a nice guy, but he was not a good counter person. And I was like, dude, we need a counter person. And he's like, I can't afford it. And I was like, how about the shop pays them, I think it was $40. I was like, shop pays them $40 a day, and then the artists tip them out a percentage. And he was like, okay. And that was basically how I got Michael in there. Michael was working at Temple also, and it wasn't working out for him as an apprentice. So I went and was just like, come to Sacred Heart. He made my needles. I paid him $1 a needle. We tipped him out. Some days he fucking made more money than us, man.
I'm sure.
And so he was there, and then he was there, and then Steve Moore came along. Bill was there, of course. And then I remember fucking that midget walked through the door, and I was just like, I knew him from Toronto. I didn't want him there. And Bill was just like, yeah, but do you want him working down the street from you? Just like, okay. So we brought him in.
He'll remain nameless.
Michael's now tattooing, and then he's went to Toronto for a bit. Rob's moved on to the Dutchman's, and then Dave's now apprenticing, and then you're brought in, and
explosion. That's when they built the second shop on Davie Street.
The later 90s. What was her name? Why can't I think of her name? Nancy. Nancy was there. She was good. She worked in Banff for a while. Married now.
Breadman.
Huh?
Breadman came on. Shoko.
Yeah, that was the downfall. And he was a plant. He knows it. Six was brought in to pierce.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right. But because Dave couldn't be at the Kids Lounge shop anymore, right? Because he now bought the shop. He bought the shop when he was the apprentice. So he couldn't be at the shop anymore and be the owner and the apprentice. The power struggle didn't work. So that's why he opened Davie Street. And, but yeah, so that was it, man. It was just super fun. Adam Sky had come back into the mix because he had come back from the States and came back and hung out, of course. And
so what did that shop mean to a city like Vancouver? Like at that time in tattooing?
Nothing.
All these years I've felt like it meant so much more.
No. Well, there wasn't a lot of, that's the thing, right? Like, first of all, when that shop first opened, there wasn't even a lot of shops to begin with. And there wasn't a lot of safe shops for regular people. But being on 10th and Elma, man, and the bus going right by on the way up to UBC, you get a different group of people. Like, I'm tattooing scientists, man. Like, my one great client, Stephanie, who I did so much work on, like, she managed a lab that was getting like $175 to $350 million grants from Pfizer.
Wow.
In the late 90s, early 2000s. Like, they're working with cloned fucking genetic mice and shit. Like, crazy shit. Those were my clients. I wouldn't have got those clients if I worked anywhere else. You know, like, we just attracted a different clientele because the way Adam initially set up the shop, because it was more of an art gallery when he first set it up. We then, when we kind of took over, because that's basically what we did, right? Like, even when Glenn owned it, we basically just bullied him into like, we're doing this. And we made it a flash shop. Like, Sacred Heart became a flash shop again for a long time. We weren't really doing a lot of flash, but we made it look like an upper scale walk-in shop with like the super cool furniture that was made by like Dingo and Ken Diamond and all that stuff. Like our floor that was done, all, you know what I mean? Like, just cool shit like that. It was a different space for a different new group of people looking to get tattooed. And we all tattooed so different. That was great. Like, that's what I love. Like, somebody would walk through that door and it would be the coolest idea. And it's like, oh, I could make $5,000 off this person. But it's like, that's not my style. It's going to that guy. Like, no ifs, ands, or buts. It wasn't even like, it's not even like, I'm going to try this. It's like, no, that you have to be tattooed by this person. And they're like, well, I was told to come and see you. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck. You need to be tattooed by this guy. Like, that's this guy's tattoo to do. And that's how we all were. You know what I mean? Like, we didn't step on each other's toes. We were super jazzed to push each other to be better and excel at the shit that we were actually like good at. Yeah. And that was just the way it was, you know, like, we didn't like sending work to other shops. But we didn't not like sharing work. You know what I mean? Like, well, except for Chad.
That's funny. That's how I ended up meeting you, was that Clint had passed me off to Adam, and then Adam passed me off to you. Yeah. He was like, oh, no, that's a Shawn Hedley tattoo. Yeah. 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 It was just, that was awesome. You know what I mean? Like, I've worked with people since where I'm like, I did a consultation a while ago here in Edmonton, and I worked with this great guy, Chad, and he has a great shop with Shane Ford now, Elsewhere Tattoo. That's where Shay Mott's just joined them. But I remember doing this consult with this guy, and I was just like, this is the Chad tattoo. And I brought him in. I was like, hey, Chad, you got a minute? He's like, sure. And I'm like, do you want to do a consult with this guy? And Chad was so confused. Because I like that shop that I was at, right? Good shop, a lot of good tattooers and stuff, but like, nobody gave away work. Yeah, right? Yeah. If it was something they liked, like, they would say no to a lot of stuff. But it was something like, and Chad just was like, you could do this tattoo. It's just a big black and gray tattoo. And I'm like, yeah, I could do it, but you could really do it. Yeah, like, yeah. Do it really well. And he's just like, are you sure? And I'm like, yeah. And then it wasn't even a month later where he brought me a sleeve, right? Because he was like, oh, this is okay. Yeah, we can function this way. Yeah, right. Yeah. I don't like to, unless it has to go outside of the shop with somebody else. I always say, like, the best artist should do the tattoo. The best tattooer for the job should do it. Always try to do it in-house, of course, but sharing work in the shop, that's what you guys should be doing. Yeah. And if you're not doing that, you guys should be drawing with each other more than, you know what I mean? Really sharing that kind of information and stuff like that. It's always been a dog eat dog. It always will be a dog eat dog. You never know how long. That's the other thing too, right? A lot of people skip shops, man. Like, I've tattooed for 30 years, and the amount of shops I've worked at in 30 years, some young tattooers have worked in that many shops in 3. Yeah. Right. So I get not wanting to give away clientele, because you need to build that base to follow you, because already in the back of your head, you're probably like, I don't know how long I'm going to be here for, because I don't know if I'm going to like it, or if they're going to like me, or if I'm going to think something's greener on the other side of the fence and this and that. I don't know why they move around so much. I don't know. I know why I used to move around a lot, not shops. I used to literally move homes all the time. Oh, fuck. Right. But yeah. I always moved around, and I remember talking to Steve Moore about this, and he understood it right away. He goes, it gives you a bump up. And I was like, what do you mean? I sensed it, but I didn't really know how to put it into words. He goes, well, you're working here in town, and your work is all this. this is your best, this is your worst. Everybody knows this. You go to another town, they know your portfolio, which is your best work.
Yeah.
So you start there. Now your best work is here. You know, this is what they know you for. Then you go to another town and it all starts here. And you just keep leveling up, you know. It's
Yeah, that's fine if you're going to a different town, not down the street.
Yeah, totally. You have to fucking move. If you're young, move across the country. Tattoo in other cities. Fuck, it's so good for you.
Yeah. Everybody should go to Vancouver.
I think they all have.
That's what I did.
I wouldn't want to work in that city now.
Go to Vancouver. Everybody should go to Vancouver.
Yeah.
Everybody should go work in Langley with Mike.
Yeah, totally. Everybody go work at Lady Luck in Langley. Let's send everybody there.
Yeah.
That'd be so good.
Yeah. Go work with a dude that's way nicer than me and way funnier than me.
Hey, he's got stories. He's got history. He's fucking fair and kind. And yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, we were talking about Sacred Heart. I want to hear about.
Well,
fuck you. Stories are going to get wild. I don't even have a drink. Fuck. Hot in this room. So you eventually leave Sacred Heart. You move on.
Yeah, we can say that.
Yeah. And you...
I took 18 months off tattooing.
And then you popped up again where? And actually, before that, how was having 18 months off? Because a lot of people don't realize the newer they are to tattooing that a lot of us have quit tattooing for a spell. Like we've got burnt out or life has fucking tripped us up or something's happened and we end up.
When I decided to throw everything I owned in a box, tattoo equipment wise, into a box, I thought I was never going to tattoo again. I thought I hated tattooing. I thought I was over it. Like, and at the end, man, like I was not living my best life. I was not even trying to live, really, to be honest. Like, I was not happy. I was not doing my best work. I was super depressed. Yeah, you name it. Like, just, I was basically a depressed, suicidal person living in a body that had no ability to commit suicide.
Thank God.
And, and like, I just was done and I didn't know what to fucking do. Like, I just threw everything and I lived on the streets. I put everything into fucking storage. Crazy Jay paid for the storage and he was like, come stay with me. I'm like, no. Took my mountain bike, which I got from you, my Gary Fisher and shit. And I had my keys in my storage locker and I just fucking just did whatever. I fucking slept under underpasses. I slept on lawns for a bit and just did all that shit. And then I bumped into Eric Thistlethwaite and he was like, what are you doing? And I'm all like chipper, like I'm rad. And he's like, no. And he basically made me move in with him. He made me move out not much longer after, but he made me move in with him. He went and took all my stuff out of storage. And I stayed with him for a while. And then he's like, you need to get your fucking shit together. Because I had no fucking money. Because now I'm staying with him. I'm not on the streets, right? So now I'm staying with him. So I'm like, I basically was living off of like in the morning, put a bag of rice into the rice cooker. And that's what I would eat all day. Just eat rice. Like I was clean off drugs, fresh off drugs, kind of. I was still slipping a little bit here and there. And then, Christoph was just like, these are non-tattooers. These are just friends of mine. My friend, lifetime friend, Christoph, he was, son of a German bricklayer. He's been doing tiling since he was a fucking baby. And he was doing huge tiling jobs. And my friend Scooter, I dated this girl Mouse. Scooter was our roommate. So Scooter's working for him. And Christoph's like, I can give you a job if you want. I was like, okay. And Eric's like, take it. For people that don't know, Eric is like 6'6", 300 pounds.
Yeah.
Got evil twin tattooed across his knuckles. and great friend of mine, but he means business. And he's like, get your shit together, take that fucking job. And Christoph was like, yeah, man, like you can come work for me, just general labor. I'll pay you $14 an hour under the table. So I'm going from tattoo money to $14 an hour under the table. And I was stoked. I was like, okay. And I started doing that shit, man, like getting up early. And then he got tired of picking me up all the time. So he basically, like, I was staying in North Van on a cot, like a military cot in his basement, so that I could just be there for because we started doing a lot of jobs. So it was pre-Olympics. So we started doing a lot of jobs in Whistler and Squamish, Whistler and Squamish. So we were driving up there every day. And I started meeting all these like super nice people, regular people, you know, kind of weird, you know, like my party trick was being able to like guess their computer passwords because I was hacking so much for so long. That I just got so good at it that like, and it's so easy to read certain people. It's like, yours is your birthday with an asterisk on the end of it. People are like, whoa. But anyway, so I meet all these great guys, and I'm tiling up in Squamish and Whistler with Christoph. And then it got to the point where I was like, I don't want to drive back and forth anymore. So one of the guys, one of the landscapers that we were becoming friends with, he had bought this townhouse, but he tore the kitchen out of it because he was going to do all these renos and stuff. And he was like, do you want to rent this townhouse with no kitchen? And I was like, yeah. I'm not going to cook food anyway. So also quitting drugs and then not having my eating under control, I fucking went from like 160 pounds to like 240. I basically ate at Burger King every fucking day. I ate at the Shady Tree in Squamish.
The Shady Tree.
I was fucking drinking so much fucking beer. And then it's funny, somebody would find out I'm a tattooer, and I'd be like drinking a beer, and somebody would be like, oh, I hear you're a tattooer. And he'd start talking about tattooing, and I'd just like dead stare them and just like open my hand and drop my beer and just walk backwards and then walk out the door and leave. Just to make a fucking point of being super dramatic. Don't talk to me about tattooing. And then it had been about 18 months, and then a couple people, I was dating a girl, Laura. Congratulations, Laura and Piot. They just celebrated their anniversary. And I did a sleeve on her, just like in our garage. And then she worked at the Shady Tree, and I forget his name, young guy, super nice. He kept bugging for tattoos through Laura. And she's like, oh, you should just tattoo him. He's a good kid and stuff.
Joel?
Like, no, I forget his name. But anyways, he got a dragon on one cat. He was a pretty big kid. And I'm like, what does he want? And he wanted like Paul Jeffries style, like jumping tiger and a dragon. And I was just like, I haven't tattooed in almost 2 years. The tattooing I'd been doing for a year prior to that was not good. And I was just like, you know, the stuff I was doing on Laura was okay. It was all freehand, but you know, and I'm just like, okay. I was a little nervous about setting up and stuff. So I was like, sure, I'll do it. And then when I did it, I was just like, man, I fucking love tattooing so much.
It's so awesome.
But at the same time, I was still really kind of struggling with it, you know, like, it was weird. Like I had nightmares for a long time because Sacred Heart became such like a core part of my personality that the separation from that, like I literally had like nightmares and stuff. Like it was a really hard transition. And I think that's why I didn't want to tattoo. And then we had a friend, Christy, in Calgary, Laura's best friend. She was working at Body Ink, where Ryan was a body piercer, but many years after me. So they needed one of their tattooers, quiet quit. He just left and never went back. So nice. They needed a tattooer. This wonderful woman who has a shop in Red Deer now, Veronica, she was tattooing there, but she was still pretty new. Shawn Hedley wasn't tattooing a lot, the owner. And I was just like, no way. And Laura's like, dude, it'll be so much fun. We'll go to Calgary and party and tattoo. And I was like, okay. So I went for 2 weeks and I had fun. And it was fun. It was a busy shop, you know, a lot of little walk-in stuff. It's where I met this really cool guy, Ken Cools, who is a professional BMXer. His sister, I believe, still lives in the Langley area. She is also a pro BMXer. Ken Cools went on to be the BMX coach for the Canadian BMX team for the Olympics.
Crazy.
Yeah. He had work by Rob Hope on him because he was from that area and stuff, right? And I was just like, so that kind of, that meeting him and tattooing that also was kind of like, oh, I remember this, you know, but also, you know, I'd talked to you because I'd been seeing you through those times, but I hadn't talked to a lot of people. I talked to Michael a little bit, but I hadn't talked to Steve Moore. I hadn't talked to Pierre. I hadn't talked to Dave C. I hadn't talked to a lot of people, you know what I mean? Like, I just, you know, I didn't know what to say, really. And just kind of like, you know, once I got clean, also, I realized too, I was like, man, I probably sucked to be around. Like, especially for guys like Steve Moore, right? Like, he doesn't live that lifestyle. Like, let alone me just being drunk, but also being like a person that's literally like kind of mentally falling apart. You know what I mean? Like, that was probably very stressful for a lot of people, I'm assuming. But anyway, so at this point, I really hadn't talked to a lot of people, but then like him having that Rob Hope tattoo was like, oh, fuck, cool. And then Shawn Hedley's boyfriend tried to get me, he was like, you should come work here full time. And I was just like, nope. And he actually offered me probably a better percentage than they offered anybody at that place. They were very business oriented, which is great. Mm-hmm. But I knew at that time, I was like, you know what? I miss tattooing. I love tattooing. This isn't the type of tattooing I want to do, which was just tattooing. Like, there was nothing. I was just doing it. I needed to find that old, like, Sacred Heart feeling of like that growth and just like that, like, I don't want to say family because that shit's so ridiculous. It's like, people aren't family. You're not families. You guys are coworkers. But we had a camaraderie. Like, we had a intense mutual respect for one another in the early years. We really genuinely wanted to see each other succeed and do well. And we were stoked when we saw people do well in our circles. But I didn't know where I was going to find that, you know? And then, so I went back to Squamish. I was no longer working with Christoph. I was now working with the guy, Dom, who owned that townhouse. I was doing like landscaping, like bricklaying and stuff.
Yeah.
And honestly, Dom paid me a lot of money just to hang out with him and drink and drive around in the truck. Dom was awesome. I fucking loved that guy. He'd be like, hey, do you want to do a tile job? I'm like, okay. And he's like, yeah, you'll get like $45 an hour. I'm going to come do it with you. But he would just sit on the case of beer and drink beer and watch me tile. And then he'd be like, oh, there's like kites going on. So we'd like go and see like the kite, like skimboarder guys and shit like that. We're supposed to be doing a job. Like, Dom was great.
Amazing.
He was paying me $25 an hour to drive around in the fucking big truck in Squamish, just to keep him company. It was so fucking awesome. But so Christy had left, and she started piercing at Bushido, and then I ended up going and doing a guest spot there. Doug Fink, Mike Peace, Chris Goldberg. There's lots of people. I know I'm forgetting names. James Jacobs, Hillary, just a great crew of people. Again, all did different stuff. Again, it was very separated. That original Bushido was more rooms, you know. I got to work in a room with Doug. But it was all kind of like disjointed early days. So it was kind of that, you know, everybody kind of does their own thing and stuff. And even though they did their own styles and stuff, it was just like, it was good. Everybody got along. Like, we'd go out together and stuff like that. But it wasn't what I was looking for. And then, at least I thought.
I think that's hard to find, you know, like I've talked to several people from Sacred Heart that have left and all had that same kind of longing to find that connection again.
Yeah.
And I think that was something special that it has as much to do with our age at the time and where we were in life, you know, like you're not going to find that kind of connection when you're older so much, because you've established a whole bunch of different things in your life and relationships, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. So I ended up doing a couple guest spots there. And in that time, you had 5 Fathoms in Vernon with Dustin.
Yeah.
Peace, you little fucking bastard. And so I had come out and visited you a couple times, and I had visited you. I had visited you also during this time and not been tattooing.
Wild times.
Moonshine paralyzer times.
Oh, fuck.
Wearing wigs with Steve Simons times. Pregnant strippers smoking on stage times. No, but so then it was so funny because I was going to go to Vernon because Laura wanted to go to Vernon or Kelowna for WestJet. And Dustin phoned me from Dutchman's, and he was like, "Yeah, boy." He's like, "We're going to finally work together," because Dustin and I had never worked together. And he's like, "So excited, we're going to work together, this and that." And then, but Doug had just offered me a job in Calgary, and the WestJet head office was in Calgary. So Laura was like, "Let's do Calgary." So I was like, "Oh man, I just took a job with Bushido." This was Dustin on the phone. I could just picture his face. He probably went, "Yeah. Traitor," and hung up.
Awesome.
Traitor. Click. I was like,
oh man.
Fuck. But yeah. So then, I was at Bushido for a little bit, and then just, left Calgary. My daughter, I was a single dad. My daughter was living with me at the time. She's a teenager. She left to go back to Toronto. I was kind of like, I don't really want to be in Calgary anymore. I didn't love it there. And I didn't know if I wanted to be in Montreal or Vancouver. I didn't know. I didn't have options. I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I didn't know where I wanted to be either. And I had gone and done some guest spots at this point now on Ink Addiction because of you telling me to go there in -50. And it was great.
Character building.
Busy. It was a good place and everything. And then I get a phone call from Rob Job. It's like, Rob Job doesn't call me. And he's like, "Hey, you're thinking about leaving Calgary?" I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "You should maybe think about going to Saskatoon." And I'm like, "Am I on speaker? Is Jody with you?" He's gone. So Rob literally negotiated for Jody for me to go to Saskatoon. She's like, "You should think about it. It'd be really good for you. You can come and help Jody out with his apprentice and this and that, and it'd be good for you. You don't have to And I'm like, okay, well, you know what? I do want to leave. And I'm like, I was now dating a person in Edmonton, and I didn't want to be in Edmonton. But it was close to Edmonton enough that I was like, oh, well, maybe I can go there. And then from there, I'll decide where I want to go. Vancouver or Montreal. I'm like, I'm going to do the Montreal convention in September. Maybe I'll just stay. And then, like an idiot, I got engaged. Ended up moving to Edmonton. Didn't work in Edmonton. Drove every day for 2 years to Red Deer. Back and forth. Classic tattoo. And
half each way.
I was North Edmonton. It was 2 hours.
Oh my God.
And did that for 2 years. Went to Lucky Strike for a year to the day. Quit. Ended up going to
it's okay, we're just recording. You can take that call if you need to.
I'm going to. I will. Because this text is from the most important person in the world. And it's not
here. I'm right here. I'm not texting you.
So I ended up working at Lucky Strike for a year to the day. Me and the owner just didn't jive. And then I left. Then I started doing guest spots, just a bunch of guest spots. Like literally, I quit on a Friday. Sunday, I had already booked to be in Nanaimo for 2 weeks with Rob Noseworthy at Black and Blue. Went back home, went to Saskatoon for like a weekend, went back to Edmonton. I went and worked with Clint, went back to Black and Blue, went back to Saskatoon. I just jumped around for like 8 months. And then my now ex-wife was just like, okay, enough. So then I got a job at a local shop. Actually, I worked with Jessica at Capital for a little bit. And then it just didn't work. She didn't have counter staff. I wasn't good with the social media, stuff like we talked about before. And so I left and I went to another shop that kind of helped with that. And then I left there after less than a year and went back to Classic, but moved this time to Red Deer. Worked there for 18 months, moved back to Edmonton, and I opened Champion in 2015. So I've had Champion now since 2015.
Crazy.
That's it. That's my life wrapped up.
Cool.
If you want to know more, like the dirty parts,
ask him at the convention. Ask him at the convention in person.
Yeah. Or come and just hang out at the shop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rad.
That's it. That's
cool.
That's my tattoo life wrapped up.
I don't think
Super.
all the times we've talked about your past and your history, I don't think I've ever got a full story like that. It's always been like we start and then there's a fucking tangent that goes off. And you never land that plane ever. This time you managed to land the plane repeatedly. That's awesome. Yeah. It's good. That's great.
Yeah.
I just think it's important people understand the era of Scarborough you came out of and the things you saw in tattooing from, late 80s onwards that shape your opinion about tattooing and your opinion you have on things.
It's not even tattooing. It's like, dude, I saw my first like death when I was a fucking kid. I saw an old lady being like punted like a ping pong ball in like super busy traffic on Morningside Road when I was a kid on my bike. And then I hear my fucking mom yell dinner and I was like, okay, and just went for dinner. When I was 9, I used to hang out with this homeless guy that lived in the forest by Danzig Street, and he had a dog. I thought it was the coolest because he named a dog. And then I went one day after school, and he was dead. So instead of telling anybody, I just covered him with leaves and took his dog. That kind of shit shaped me. Tattooing had standing on the platform of Young and Blur and a crazy guy, mental health issues guy, houseless guy, whatever you want to fucking call him, just literally like did that to a woman while a train came in. Didn't run away, just sat down and started rocking after he did it. Like, that's the kind of shit that I saw. Tim Luke, we were on Davie Street one day in Vancouver. Remember there was a spell there in Vancouver where Vancouver buses were dragging people? It was like they were never waiting for anybody to get off a bus. They just start driving. So a woman on Davie Street went to get off. Her bag got stuck in the back door and the bus just started driving. She got wrapped up inside the fucking wheel. We're coming back from the bar. Tim's fucking wasted. There's a crowd of people. Tim's like, what's going on? Somebody's like, oh, there's a woman. Like, and he's like, oh my God, Grandma. And he starts like pushing people out of the crowd. And he like, Grandma, runs right up to the fucking wheel. No, not her. And walks away. And everybody was just like, and Tim didn't skip a beat. Not her. Took a drag of a cigarette and just walked. It's like it was somebody's grandma. I don't know what to say. You know what I mean? We did lots of drugs. We did lots of alcohol. We weren't fucking smart people. We were smart at stupid things, but we weren't not smart at social issues. We weren't smart at that. That's why we like, if you were a good person and you were good, like social etiquette, you wouldn't have gotten along with Bill. He wouldn't have taught you how to tattoo. Like, it's just, if you were like a social retard, that's who you were. Like, that's what tattooing was back in the day. It was tough guys and like social retards. Like,
yeah.
Didn't know how, but we were really good with clients. I'm super comfortable one-on-one with clients, but then like anywhere else, I'm fucking soaking wet. I ramble. I talk way too fucking much. I overshare. And that's just my, like,
it's like this.
Yeah. Cause you made me fucking talk about shit. Fucking loser.
I barely asked a question. I think I've asked 3 questions this whole. You're just like, I question, then go.
Yeah, because it's like you talk about yourself, and then I get all fucking nervous, and then I do. So, anyways, I want to eat.
No worries. I need to cook dinner.
All right, buddy. Love you.
I love you too. I will.
We'll see you in fucking 7 days. Julia's stoked. Julia, are you stoked? She's stoked.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, buddy.
All right.
Bye.
Love you. Bye.